welcome back to this episode of Catch, Clean, and Cook. Caught us a nice little piece of beef shoulder on sale at the deli. I owed a buddy some beef jerky, so let's make it happen for him. I'm going to go ahead and cut some of the gristle off here. This beef shoulder is going to be a little bit more fatty, a little extra marble in than what you would normally have. I really prefer to do this with deer meat. It's a very nice lean meat, very little fat content, but we'll make do with what we have. It's not quite deer season, so we're going to get this cut up, open up, see our nice little strips of jerky that are not quite there yet. Get them ready to marinate. We're going to put them in some Worcestershire, well, you know what it is, Worcestershire sauce. Dales. Make sure we're careful with the Dales. You can easily over salt, even though it is pretty good with jerky. You're definitely going to see our Everglades heat in here. And the only thing I didn't put in this batch that I normally do is some minced garlic. After we're done with this, we want to let this sit for at least 24 hours before we start cooking. Add plenty of seasoning in here. Like I said, be easy on your Dale so you don't over salt it. Get our meat mixed into here. As we get this thing filled to the top, go ahead and give it a nice shake. Add a last little touch of some Worcestershire sauce, some Dales, and that Everglades heat. Now let's get the old girl fired up. I'm going to put about a quarter to a half bag of Kingsford, depending on how big of a batch you plan on cooking of jerky. Just give us a little base. Get it stuffed in on this smoker particularly. We want to be burning in the middle of it. Get a little bit of lighter fluid on top of there. Let it soak in. Make sure we let that soak in before you fire it back up. And we're going to go ahead and pre-stack a couple of logs in here and let her rip, tater chip. Now this shouldn't take too long to get heated up in this fire. We're going to go ahead and jump inside. Pull that jerky out of the fridge. Let it get to room temperature if we can. It's been marinating for about 20 to 24 hours. We'll go ahead and get it set up on our shish kebabs. We want to make sure that as we get it put on here, or at least before we put it on the smoker, we make sure that that meat's spread out evenly across. And that's just really so we get an even cook on that jerky. So once we get that set up, we're going to go ahead and take this stuff outside. Let's get ready to throw it on the smoker. So we've got a built-in jerky rack on here. Just got to adjust it. Make sure those racks are evenly spread out like we talked about. Jerky's got plenty of room to cook between each other. And that's going to let that heat and smoke rise up evenly in between each one of those pieces. And we're just going to readjust those. Once we got that all set up, we'll go ahead and drop the lid. And let's just keep an eye on that fire. So this is after about an hour. You can tell they're not soaking wet anymore, but you can really tell that that jerky's got a elasticity, a nice little wave to it. Absolutely not what we're looking for yet. A long way to go, but we're on the right track, and it still smells delicious. A little bit later in the night, this is right at about 2.5 to 3 hours of cooking time. They really could be done right now. You can see that little bit of white whenever you try to peel it apart. Still quite a bit of moisture in here. That's where you're going to end up with some jerky that if you put it up in a bag, it's probably going to mildew on you after 3 or 4 days. It's really not quite dehydrated enough to be stored, and we want to make sure we finish dehydrating it the rest of the way. So this is another hour and a half after, and you can see we got a nice dehydrated jerky. Has a really good crisp crack across there, and as you peel it apart, you can see the whiteness inside of the tissue. Really nice flavor. I think we're going to be very happy with this jerky, and good luck to you. Please like and subscribe.